Pompey Sound. Updates, the latest from Fratton Park, on the hour, every hour. Fueled by Piglet's Pantry. Click pigletspantry.co.uk to get your fill.
Football Insider is making a very bold claim that Pompey have actually tabled a bid for a player. This is what they're saying.
Portsmouth have made a bid for Hungarian midfielder Mark Koznovsky as they look to best championship rivals Swansea to his signature, sources have told Football Insider. The 23-year-old, who plays for MTK Budapest, has caught the eyes of clubs across Europe after impressing for club and country in the last 12 months. Portsmouth have made a bid of €600,000, £517,860 for Koznovsky, but MTK are holding out for a bigger fee for the player. The Hungary under-21 international scored 3 goals and provided 5 assists in 30 games last season. Football Insider revealed that Portsmouth were one of several clubs interested in Reading starlet Charlie Savage. And whilst that deal remains viable, Pompey are showing their clear intent to reinforce John Mazzino's midfield options with their bid for Koznovsky. The Hungarian is capable of playing as a 6, 8 or 10, and provides an attacking threat, whilst his average tackles per game of 1.9 SofaScore show his ability to offer defensive stability in the middle of the park. However, one area Koznovsky may have to improve in is the quality of his tackling, having picked up 7 yellow cards for his side last season. Freddie Potts was one of Mazzino's best-performing players last season, but following his return to West Ham, Portsmouth have a gap that needs filling in the heart of their midfield.
First up, I can't but help that they got one of those stats wrong. I can't believe he's a 1.9 tackles per game man. That hardly makes him a rock in defence, so that needs to be reviewed. Who is he? Well, a little bit more about him. He is 5'10". He's 23, which is an age we seem to like, because at 23 you're not so young that you're going to be green, but you've got some growing to do, some improving to do. What is a footballer's peak age? I'm going 26, 27, 28, but anyway, what do you think? Koznovsky, in 2019, he signed for the Italian club in the Serie A, Parma, where he only made one appearance, but hey, he was signed to an Italian Serie A club that everyone's heard of. He then, though, signed for MTK in the Hungarian top flight, but then he was sent out on loan. And he had 17 games on loan in 2022, and then 33 games on loan in 2022, 2023. So this is basically not breaking into the first team at MTK and not breaking into the top flight of Hungarian football. Hungarian football was once to be seriously feared. I'm afraid I can't throw any light on the state of Hungarian football at this moment in time. Koznovsky sounds like a reliable, solid player. It's good that he can play 6, 8 or 10, of course. Is he Freddie Potts? He's not going to be a Freddie Potts. I would very much doubt, wouldn't you? Freddie Potts has got the lot. He showed it. Class, style, good decision-making, good tackler. Used to come away with the ball rather than simply slide in and dispossess the opponent. If Koznovsky can do any of those things anywhere near as well as Freddie Potts, then at £600,000, but it's not my euros. It's not my €600,000. He might turn out to be a snip. We know that the Pompey coaching staff and John Mazzino in particular look for players who they believe have the intelligence to improve and the attitude to want to improve. So if it's true, what they're saying, Football Insider, that Pompey have tabled a bid for Koznovsky, then exciting times, and we might have some interesting news to devour and chew on in the not too distant future. That would be nice. Inside Football are quoting Danish sources as the hunt for the signature of Pelle Mattsson continues. This is what they're saying.
Championship side Norwich City have had their bid for Silkeborg midfielder Pelle Mattsson turned down, with League One outfit Portsmouth also keen on the Danish prospect. The Canaries, now under new boss Liam Manning following his switch from Bristol City, are looking to reshape their squad for a promotion push. They've already been busy in the transfer market, bringing in several new faces including Harry Darling, Jakov Medic, Vladan Kovacevic, and Jacob Wright. Manning is particularly keen to add some creativity to his midfield, which has led Norwich to target the 23-year-old MATTSSON. However, they're not alone in their pursuit, with several Championship clubs and John Mousinho's Portsmouth also tracking the player. Pompey, who successfully fought off relegation last term, are hoping to back their manager with quality signings as they target a higher finish this season. Mousinho is known to be a big admirer of MATTSSON, but Norwich's interest could complicate matters. According to Danish outlet Bold, Norwich's opening bid for the midfielder has been knocked back by Silkeborg, suggesting they'll need to dig deeper if they want to land their target.
Obviously, we want to know what the bid was. How much did Norwich offer? And did they say, we want more than that? Simple as that, in a nutshell? Or was it more complicated? Because we know that the monies that exchange hands when footballers travel from one club to another is subject to a very complicated contract and a very complicated set of ifs and maybes. If certain achievements are made by the player, international duty, or purchased by a bigger club for even more money than he was sold in the first place, subject to that original contract, then the original parent club obviously benefits from that. And that's standard procedure nowadays. And also it's interesting that they're quoting 600,000, for example, for Koznovsky. The sum that they are saying Pompey have bid, 600,000 euros, which is an awkward figure in pounds, 500 and something, 706, if I remember rightly. So that's kind of interesting in itself, isn't it? Because it's clear that Pompey, when they buy players from the continent, have to pay in euros. I don't know or care how that transaction is made, and I'm sure every single bank is perfectly capable of doing it. But it does appear that the trading currency when negotiations are taking place is in euros, and it's rounded up to the nearest 10,000 or even 100,000. 100,000 more like it. So, are we still hunting this guy? We're interested. We must be interested. We would love to know what Norwich had knocked back, if indeed they did make a concrete bid. But it begins to look, if that's the case, Norwich being a moneybags club, mind you, they've spent a lot of money and it hasn't really got them anywhere recently. But they are a moneybags club and they could probably outbid Pompey every day of the week, actually, which is a shame. But working within the budget is something that John Mousinho has said publicly he is excited about. And he did a very good job getting us the title the season before last and keeping us, people say comfortably. I don't think it was comfortably, but we were clear of trouble with 2 games to go. And there's a kind of comfortableness about that. So well done him and the team on that, and doing it on a budget. And it seems likely that he's going to be working on a tight budget through this transfer window. But we keep watching the skies with fingers crossed. Saints Marching has this to say about the impending Southampton-Pompey derby. It's nonsense. Just pin them back and listen to this.
Southampton have been pointed out their significant home advantage that can almost guarantee them an early victory over Portsmouth. Since the matchday charts were dropped, Southampton fans have been riding on a wave of mixed reactions regarding the 5th game week. Certainly, there's no appeal of a First League evening nor the thrill of an inaugural home game, but the Portsmouth derby doesn't need any special event to occur, isn't it? And goes without saying, but that will almost be a first taste of Southern derby for the current Saints roster. Many of them might be rolling back the history pages of this rivalry in order to analyse how much they stand a chance when Pompey's squad comes in town. Let's be honest, a win, and potentially a draw, can satisfy the home fans to some extent, solely because it's a fresh Southampton unit, led by another new Saint. However, any defeat, be it narrow or humiliating, can see alarm bells ringing for Still, to either respond with a quick championship turnaround, or hand over his Saints' resignation. Portsmouth's horrible home run will delight Saints fans. Luckily, Championship's fan favourite striker Don Goodman feels calm about the latter possibility due to an unnoticed Portsmouth weakness. Discussing their grim away tally, the Football League World quoted Goodman, "Clearly, their survival was based on home form, 40 points, whereas they only won 3 away games, and only Plymouth got less points away from home in the Championship last season." Simply put, Portsmouth securing 3 points on the road happens once in like 10 weeks, which could play to the Saints' advantage at St Mary's. Moreover, Southampton wrapped up a stress-free victory against Swansea at the same venue, not long ago, and they finished 5 positions higher than Portsmouth. Hence, delivering a world-class performance against the Pompeys shouldn't be an uphill task.
Well, it's semi-literate. I suppose there should be no surprise there. I don't like to pick to pieces the work of other journalists, but I suspect that we're not dealing with a journalist here. We're dealing with somebody who sits alone in his bedroom typing away. The website, Saints Marching, I can't find any validation for it. You don't need any qualifications in order to write stuff like this, and write it very badly. It's very difficult to keep up with some of the sentences and understand what is being said. Certainly it says there's no appeal of a First League evening. What does that mean? Nor the thrill of an inaugural home game, but the Portsmouth derby doesn't need any special event to occur, isn't it? I mean, was somebody drunk when they wrote this? It's shameful. And other things as well. I'm not going to quote all the various mistakes that they make, but, well, this one, for example, quoting Goodman, Don Goodman, they say that Goodman said, simply put, Portsmouth securing 3 points on the road happens once in like 10 weeks, which could play to the Saints' advantage at St Mary's. The headline, by the way, of this piece, heavily pro-Southampton, of course, as you'd expect, as we are Pompey, so there's no criticism there. But the headline is absurd, which is that there is an unnoticed factor that will almost certainly guarantee 3 points against Pompey when they play host at St Mary's. And anybody who thinks that Portsmouth aren't fully aware, and the world of football actually is fully aware, that last season we had a very bad time of it on the road. It's something that no doubt our outstanding coaching staff are addressing. They are sitting around after hours discussing how it can be changed. How do you change that round? We've talked to Portsmouth ourselves about the idea of having effectively 2 teams, one of whom plays as Pompey always play at home, and the other team who sets out to undertake a holding exercise away from home, to come away at the very least with a point where possible and maybe sneak a win. There could be a different way of playing the game away from home which might convert into more points, and it would be handy. But we're pretty good at home, and most clubs would swap that for an indifferent away record. OK, ours isn't indifferent, ours is poor. There it is, poor. But to say that it's an unnoticed factor is, frankly, off with the fairies. So that's the last time I'm going to get het up about any literature that comes our way from people purporting to be some kind of journalists on the side of Southampton, because it's just, you know what, poor stuff. Really shameful.